One. Hello, everybody. You should be able to hear me now. I'm going to make myself a bit softer because I think I came in a little hot. And I will say hello, everybody, and happy Porter's Day. Um, if you are a Speculate fan of some number of months, you will remember Porter's Day as a holiday that we invented in the Case of the Cindered Seal when we were playing Blades in the Dark by John Harper, and decided that it would be fun to have this be the organizing principle we use for Strange Friends winter holiday / end of Gregorian year holiday shenanigans. So I am tonight's host and stage manager, Mike. I publish as Michael R. Underwood, he, him pronouns for me. And now I'm going to, real quick, ask Brandon to say hello so that I can make sure that we're actually getting audio from Zoom.
Hello, testing 1 2 3. Hi everybody. It's me, Brandon O'Brien. I hope that you can hear me. I am not GMing a thing this time. Yay, good for me. My brain is actually kind of mush this week, so it would have been very difficult for me to run a thing, but I am very excited to play a thing with Mike at the helm. Because Mike is rad, and I always trust Mike's judgment. I am a poet, writer, and game designer from Trinidad and Tobago, and 1/3 of the co-hosts of Speculate, alongside Mike and our good friend Gregory A. Wilson, who is not here, but is here in spirit, like the ghost of Christmas present. And yeah, I am here to enjoy some Porter's Day enjoyment with my strange friends, without having to pour over a rulebook this time. I just get to throw dice like everybody else.
Okay, great. Jeoi, if you'd like to go next.
Hello, I had a struggle with the unmute button, but now perhaps you can hear me as well. I am Jeoi Gawain Lin. I am another one of the strange friends. I have a mug of hot water and I am very pleased about it. I am also a game and fiction writer with he and they pronouns. I think that's everything I need to disclose.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about our characters in just a minute.
Yes, I was wondering when to, yeah.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Iori.
Happy time zone chat. Kusano Iori, I am one of those they thems. I am a writer, a general shit poster, a lifestyle guru, and I am here for some lasers and feelings.
Brilliant. Valerie Valdez, the last and most Valerie member of the Strange Friends, is currently spending Porter's Day with her family, which is a very good thing to do on Porter's Day, but it means that she's not able to join us for these festivities. However, you can find Valerie's work at valerievaldez.com and or candleandsunshine.com. Valerie writes, found family space operas. They're super cool. You should absolutely buy them. There's 3 of them out in the Eva Innocente series, starting with Chilling Effect. And if you go to her website, you can probably find some information about her next upcoming book, about which I am jazzed because I'm reading the 3rd one. And when I'm done with that one, I will need more Valerie Valdez fiction in my life, as you do, all of you, even Valerie, because then that's motivation for her to write more. I want to say thank you, everybody who is joining us tonight. Thank you to our lovely mods keeping everything rolling. And thank you to Arvin Elleron, a.k.a. Greg, who is the host and, well, should we say major domo of the channel? I don't know. Whatever fancy words he wants. He's a professor with lots of cool vests, so title affectation is just fine there. Tonight, we are going to be playing Lasers and Feelings, which is a wonderful one-page science fiction RPG by John Harper, who you may recognize as the designer of Blades in the Dark, because they contain multitudes. He will give us a game about being gritty, morally gray scoundrels in a haunted industrial city, and then also a game based or inspired by a fun and goofy romantic song by the Double Clicks. So in Lasers and Feelings, we have kind of science fiction characters in the mold of something like Lost in Space, or I think especially the original series Star Trek. And characters have one statistic. It is their number, where they fall on a chart from lasers to feelings. And if your number is higher, then you are better at lasers, because if you do lasers, you want to roll under your number. And if you want to do feelings, then the higher your number is, the harder it is to succeed by following feelings, because feelings get big and lasers is scientific and reduces things to small numbers. And that's how I'm going to try and keep track of which is which tonight. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to design our spaceship. So I am going to go back to itch.io.
Shall we introduce our characters?
Yeah, as I go and find my Lasers and Feelings PDF, we can go around the table again, and folks can introduce your characters, and then I will get the Roll20 up and going. Starting again with Brandon.
I should unmute again. Hello. Hi everybody. I'm playing a character that no one should have given me the wherewithal to actually create, because it's just a pile of references that only a handful of people on Earth will get. But I am playing Luna February, a hotshot explorer who wants to befriend everyone in the universe. And if you don't watch Kamen Rider Forze, you have no idea what that means, which is why you should watch Kamen Rider Forze. But yes, and my number is 3, because I'm still very feelings heavy, but I needed to make sure that I at least knew how to operate one machine.
Excellent. And I have now opened the document in a way that did not break the stream, so be very proud of me. Great. So we're going to go continue our character introductions with Jeoi.
Hello. So I am playing an android pilot named Rek, which is short for Reconnaissance Model 588. Her number is 5. So maximum lasers, minimum feelings. I think we'll stick with that.
Okay. And Iori.
I am playing Deep Wave, an alien explorer on a quest to find the best cocktail in the galaxy. Deep Wave has a rating of 2. Very, very feelings. The only machine that they can really use is a martini shaker.
That's very good. And it feels like I'm trying to figure out the degree to which that's a callback to a Cat Holly line.
What was that one? My entire life is structured around never holding anything heavier than the champagne flute.
Yes, I believe that was the case. And it was so good that I went to incredible depths, incredible lengths to talk about how great of a line it was. And now I am making the Roll20 small enough that it can fit in the middle here so that people can actually see what is going on, but not see my desktop. So if I do this, that should work. It's a little rough, but we're shabby chic here on Porter's Day. So we should figure out some things about our spaceship, including what our spaceship's name is, because I don't think it's the Raptor.
The Partridge.
Okay.
It brings the holiday spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very festive.
And also establishing that the strange friends are just always surrounded by birds.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Seems
That's not my fault.
Seems accurate. So for our ship can be fast, nimble, well armed, have powerful shields, superior sensors, a cloaking device, and or fighter craft. We get 2 of those. What 2 cool strengths should our spaceship have?
I think
We stole
fast
this
would definitely
spaceship,
be
right?
useful. Oh, we completely stole this baby.
Who
Well,
did you?
If she's stolen, she's definitely fast.
Yeah, I feel like if we stole it, it is fast.
I'm going to come back to the stealing the spaceship here in a moment. The ship is fast. Is it fast and nimble, fast and well armed, fast with powerful shields, fast with superior sensors, fast with a cloaking device, or fast with fighter craft?
I mean, one of the questions we should probably qualify at this point is
Where we stole it from, because if this is a cop ship,
yeah,
You have to tell
Because
us
we
if it's a
have-
cop ship.
because fundamentally we need to answer 2 questions. Are we the kinds of people who typically get in fights? And if we're not, is that because the ship is not equipped to do so? Or because the ship is very equipped to do so and we don't want to kill anybody?
I think we're not emotionally equipped to be in that many fights.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just
am a
looking at the
very
composition
simple.
of this group.
I'm a very simple android. If I see something that I can fly, I will fly it. So I think that's why we stole it, because we needed to get somewhere, and it just so happened to be in my range of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I went,
Well, we
there
also,
we go.
at the moment, needed to get out of somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because we did agree that Luna was the one who got us out of jail somehow. Maybe we got the partridge when Luna broke us out of jail.
Mm-hmm. I do imagine if I had to break you out of jail, I had no other vehicle to do so. I still haven't figured out if I was also in jail. Which stands to reason, because I have no reason to break people out of jail unless I was also in jail.
I think that's probably where you befriended us.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you do in jail but befriend all of your fellow prisoners?
Yeah. I think you absolutely offered Deep Wave some of your nutritional slurry.
That means it's probably actually a cop ship. Oh my god. This is actually terrible for us. Because it means that no one actually likes seeing us when they have no idea who we are. Because they think that we're the cops.
It means people are trying to give us a really wide berth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, one of us must like soda, so maybe we just poured enough soda all over it that it doesn't look like a cop ship anymore.
Right, because if you leave it looking like a cop ship, then you get the intimidation factor, but also people not wanting to see you. If you repaint it,
Yeah,
some
cop's
people
nothing a little paint can't fix.
some people will still see it as a cop ship because they'll think it's like an unlabeled ship, and then the cops
It's the
will
Blues
really
Brothers
want to take
Crown
it back.
Mm-hmm.
The space cops will really want it back.
So, this is the case that I want to make. I think we are fast with superior sensors. And I think what I specifically mean by that is we went out of our way to ensure that even though there are still, like, physically guns on our ship, none of them fire because we just replaced them with the ability to, like, increase our capacity for subspace radar, simply so we never have to get in a fight again, hoping that if we had to get in a fight, people would be like, oh, it's a cop vehicle and it still has all its guns. Maybe we shouldn't fight them, but we've never fired them because they don't fire.
So is that fast and superior sensors?
I like that.
The argument that I'm willing
I
to
think
make.
that this ship was also previously used to enforce it, like interstellar speed limit violations.
Okay, sure.
Especially near the end of the month when people had to make some overtime.
Also,
Are you aware
I have
that
an
you were
idea
doing?
for I have an idea for why the cops might not want this ship back.
Oh,
It does have a problem of some sort.
Yes.
It is a janky piece of shit.
Well, no, it's not a janky piece of shit because it's fast with superior sensors now. But Deepwave, weren't you arrested previously for public indecency? And don't cops not like it when you draw dicks on their cars? So maybe, so maybe we festively just have the space equivalent of dick butt on our car.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. I can see that. Deepwave is 163 cycles according to their planet's rotational cycle, but in Earth terms, that's about 43, 45? Deepwave is absolutely in the midst of their midlife crisis.
Fair.
So do we have like the alien equivalent of like the Vitruvian man just like decaled all over this ship? So we're zooming by and everyone's like, "Oh, is that an academic ship with very, very interesting like with very interesting ideas of decor? Oh, they must be tutors for anatomy or something."
Mm-hmm. Just
We've
barely
been
straddling the
mistaken
line.
as an artist ship. We have
Mhm.
like buzzed past a colony and they've went, Space Georgia O'Keeffe?
Mm. Also, if we put the alien equivalent of the Vitruvian man on the ship, then we can literally do streaking.
Yes. I like
Lord.
this. So the
So-
partridge is a masterpiece of obscenity, but it also has like a general functional problem as well.
Right. Like
Mhm.
I could imagine that the problem is extremely illegal or extremely wanted, but you could also have something else, and then we wouldn't focus as much on how extremely wanted you are. You would just still be really wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fuel Hog and Horrible Circuit Breakers are the ones that are most likely to be funny.
I
Does
think
anyone have a
horrible
preference though?
I think horrible circuit breakers makes sense because if we literally stripped out all of the guns
Yeah,
and
we fucked something up, didn't we?
we fucked something up because I think the person with the highest lasers
Cough,
stat is
cough.
B, and I'm not the mechanic, I'm the pilot.
Oops.
So
Okay.
I knew enough to like keep the car functional, but not enough to like keep the windshield wipers from bursting into flames every now and again,
So this,
so to speak.
if we go with horrible circuit breakers, I will set a challenge for you all, which is that when the ship gets damaged, I'm going to give you a countdown, and then I want everyone to do Star Trek like shake being tossed. And if you all go the same direction, you'll get some kind of bonus.
Oh Lord. I saw this
Yes,
coming in my head,
beautiful.
Yeah,
You
so
started
love video
speaking,
games.
and I immediately knew this is what Mike is gonna ask us to do.
Right,
Are
well-
we willing to embarrass ourselves live? Of course we are.
Because we play games together a lot.
This sounds beautiful.
Okay. All right. Unless
do we
I
get bonus points if we dab when we do it?
if you can sell me on you being thrown about the bridge and you're dabbing while you do it, then yeah, I will come up with some additional different strange bonus. This game is very loose
We're
mechanically.
playing as Harper intended.
Right. Play your characters and your ship like it's stolen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an android, I stole myself, so.
Beautiful. And so how many other people are on the ship besides the three of you? Is this like a larger prison break? Did you pick up some crew at some point?
I feel like Luna very well may have insisted on bringing a couple other friends.
I think I've asked one other person to be on board. Like I've reached out to other people, and they're like, "Yes, we are friends and all. I like this idea, but your ship doesn't meet OSHA regulations, and I do not feel comfortable being on it." And I've since respected their decision. So I think we only have one other person on board.
I make a case for a prison guard that Luna managed to sway with the power of friendship onto the ship with us. Because in every single campaign, there is always one hapless NPC who gets dragged along with the party and is never allowed to leave.
Mm,
Yes.
So we need one
They
of
are
those.
our token order Muppet.
okay. Brandon, what's this guard's name?
This guard's name is Shelly.
And what are Shelley's pronouns?
She, her.
Okay. And I have an important question for us. How preposterous is our kind of biological ecosystem in space science fiction? Do we have like mostly prosthetic nose ridge aliens? Do we have like this planet is full of armadillo people? Do we have like something that's like way more out there where they're like, oh yeah, there's a like the kind of the majority of the space truckers are all like they're cephalopods from Delta 5. Like how
Space truckers 100% have tentacles to handle that stick shift.
okay.
There should be
Also,
a
for
planet with
reference,
birds.
Deepwave looks like a little goblin and has very big triangle ears.
Okay.
And is probably only about like 1.5 meters tall.
All important things for me to know.
I am a small and terrible creature.
Okay. I'm curious, how did Rec and Deepwave meet?
We were in jail.
Okay, so you met in jail.
Adjacent cells.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
What was Rec in jail for?
Rec, being a reconnaissance drone, is ordered to always land a craft. So Rec is not allowed to crash things. But the circumstances under which Rec must always land a craft were not specified very well, so one time Rec landed a craft in 8 separate pieces, and nobody lived, and Rec did not see a problem with this because somehow the ethics board missed out on that chunk. So then they were like, we will send this one to jail for reprogramming and rehabilitation.
So I'm guessing the reprogramming didn't stick.
No.
Okay.
Because, as the ancient Tibetan philosophy states, when God gives you lemons, you find a new god. So Rec has stayed in one piece.
Okay. I kind of feel like we could just go for another hour doing this fun science fiction idle dreaming, and that would be fine. But I do have a bit of plot, and we'll see how much of it we actually do, because mostly we're here to have a good time. So I think, that was all the like pre-title thing, and with Shelley on board and the four of you on the kind of the small bridge of the Partridge, you kind of jump into hyperspeed because we're not using warp because that's a Star Trek thing, and we go to our title card and a song that sounds a little bit but not exactly like whoa. And then when we come back, you are at the edge of what did I call this? You're on the edge of the Karos system, and you know that Karos-Theta II is an inhabited planet, and you sensed some exceptionally anomalous atmospheric readings from Karos-Theta II as soon as you came into the system. I'm curious, what are y'all planning to do as your overall like vibe? Are you going to be space pirates? Are you going to be space truckers? Are you going to be smugglers? Are you still figuring that out?
Deepwave is honestly just here for a good time. Deepwave is having the spring break that they didn't get in Alien University.
What did Deepwave major in Alien University?
Interplanetary economics.
On a range from, let's say, like a rowdy DSA meeting to The Economist, how left to right was that economics program?
The economics program was aggressively, infuriatingly centrist and attempted to insert both sides into issues that don't have both sides.
Okay, so the chapters on like unionization and labor rights talk about how labor, like how
It's unfair to the bosses, yeah.
right, and the one of the dangers of labor unions is that it can get in between, it can get in the way of a healthy work environment.
Mm-hmm.
Solidarity to all of the folks at Starbucks, various Starbucks that are striking right now.
3 cheers for Walmart someday unionizing. You could break the entire United States. Do it, do it.
Let's not forget.
Am I allowed to say that on Twitch?
We'll find out. I'm also, sometimes I think about what the rail strike would have been like, how much better those rail workers' lives could be if they were not being interfered with in doing such things. Anyway, that's a separate. Well, we're always going to kind of come back to like shit talking capitalism if this group of people are in a room and if I'm GMing. So that, we've checked.
That's what we signed up for, Mike.
Right. It's true. When we were discussing what to play, Brandon said, Mike or I need to figure out the most anti-capitalist thing that we can do on short notice for this weekend.
I think I asked if we could, like, Christmas Carol a CEO.
There was some discussion of that. We threw back and forth some options for, like, modern day heist games that we could play. But for this, we will get kind of holiday-themed adventure without having to necessarily be as much dealing with, let's say, Earth bullshit.
As much as possible.
Yeah, I just want to make this a little bit larger so that the yellow bit is hidden, and it's not happening. Okay, I'll deal with it. Yeah, so Karos-Theta II is, a short sublight trip away, and you see in your sensors that there is another, I would say, bigger than you, but not twice as big as you, spaceship in orbit around Karos-Theta II.
Can I glean anything about its potential purpose from its design?
That's a good question. I think to get more information, to be able to make an assessment, you will need to get closer, and that will put you in danger of being noticed by that ship. But you can certainly make a roll. I'm just going to tell you like what it's going to take.
Pilot Rec, what do our superior senses tell us?
Our most magnificent GM, what do our superior senses tell us?
So you got the size. You can tell that it is also a hyperspeed capable ship. But as with Luna, to get more information, you need to get closer. And so it's going to be a push-pull. I think if with a great roll right now, you could get information without having to get closer. But you probably need to get 2 successes and not just 1.
If we literally just broke out of jail, I don't think we could have just broken out of jail if we also, unless we literally just broke out of jail and then ripped out all the guns while we were escaping from jail.
Yeah, is it like 2 weeks to a month after, and you've been kind of laying low in various shadow ports in kind of the rough and tumble neutral parts of the galaxy.
Various hives of scum and villainy.
Mostly making money by being either space smugglers or space taxis.
Also, by selling the guns that we took out of the ship.
That would set you up for a while. It did require doing some business with some fairly unscrupulous space capitalists, however.
Unfortunately, that's all that one can do. Although, to be fair, we didn't sell the guns. We sold everything inside the guns. The shape of the guns are still there. All the things that actually make guns do gun things is now gone.
We parched them.
Yeah.
And there's been absolutely no negative effects on the integrity of your ship's circuitry. None whatsoever.
Definitely
Yeah, of course not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It didn't hurt us at all, but only one of us is an expert mechanic.
So, is somebody want to make a roll?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I will say that because we haven't been on this ship for an extended period of time to the point where we probably would get really familiar with it, Rek is going to attempt using the sensors from a distance just to see like what they can actually pick up and what they can actually do.
Okay.
Because there's no point getting close and then realizing you have the Hubble telescope.
Sure. All right.
I am going to help.
Right. So if you want to help someone else who's rolling, say how you try to help and make a roll. If you succeed, give them plus 1d. So for Luna, are you prepared to do this kind of assistance? And tell me what kind of how you are making this easier for Rek.
Essentially, because of all of the cannibalism that we have done to the ship, activating some of our senses requires a level of preparation. Suffice it to say that every once in a while, some of our sensors are not pointing in the right direction and need to be recalibrated in order to do the thing, which is actually a very long and involved process, and becomes longer if you don't want to actually go outside in space and adjust those sensors by hand yourself.
Okay.
Which I am not doing because I am not a fool. Well, not that much of a fool, but still. So I am attempting to adjust those sensors to see if you could get a better read of either the ship or what immediate landmass immediately below it, as it is presently in orbit. We might be able to get any information about what is there as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Are you an expert at this type of work?
I am not.
Do you think you're prepared to do this kind of work, either by familiarizing yourself with the systems or some other reason?
I think having spent several months only on this ship has made me a little bit more accustomed to doing these things in particular.
Sure. If it's only the four of you on the ship, you kind of all had to do almost everything, right? So that would mean that
with
you're
varying levels of competence.
Sure. So I think that means you'll be rolling 2 dice. And do you think this is lasers or feelings?
This is unfortunately lasers.
Yeah, because I think if you were doing it yourself, you might be able to do feelings and like go off of vibes. But if you're helping Rek, maybe it's harder to grant assistance by vibes. I think with any of these rolls, you get to tell me which one you think it is, and if I'm not, if I give you this kind of a look, we'll have a conversation. For the audio listeners, this kind of look is me kind of squinting with disbelief. Right.
Can't feelings everything, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So let's roll 2d6. Ooh, one of those was a 1.
Okay, so with a 1 and a 6, that is 1 success, because that is one thing under your number of 3. And when you get a partial success, you do the thing, but there's also a complication. And I think the complication is that Luna, because you're not as experienced, you're able to boost the sensors for Rek but you also basically send out a ping that other ship is going to be able to detect, but not immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But now, Rek, you have some assistance, and you're going to get +1 die on your roll.
Okay.
Rek, I have good news and bad news.
So, Rek, are you an expert at this type of thing?
I would like to think so,
Yeah,
because I
you're a
was
pilot.
literally built to be a pilot.
Great. So that's 2 dice, because you always start with 1 die because
Mhm.
you have a chance at being lucky. Were you
Mhm.
prepared to do this kind of work?
I think so, because I was in the pilot seat. I saw the thing coming
Mhm.
and decided, okay, I'm going to do the thing that I was built to do. This
Great.
should not be difficult.
So that's 3 dice plus 1 from Luna. So you'll get to roll 4 dice.
4d6.
Yep. And what is your number? And do you see this as lasers or feelings?
My number is 5, and I feel like this is definitely a lasers thing. I am operating equipment. I am being good at operating equipment. I myself am equipment built to run this equipment.
Right. And you're it sounds like you're looking for specific, objective data rather than vibes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what vibes are.
All right.
I do not care either.
You care not for vibes.
I care not for vibes.
Okay. I think it's going to be easier to read those numbers if we're in light mode. So I've switched that. Go ahead and give me a 4d6 roll.
4d6 roll. That's a 5, a 2, a 5, and a 5.
Okay. So the 2 is a success. And when you roll your number, you get laser feelings.
Oh!
So when you get laser feelings, if you roll your number exactly, you have laser feelings. You get a special insight in.
Hang on. Would the multiple 5s make that a crit laser feelings? Like double crit or something?
A roll of laser feelings does count as a success, so that is going to be a critical, and you're going to get the laser feelings bonus. So the questions, so you don't have to only ask these questions, but these are some good questions as options. These are kind of powered by the apocalypse kinds of questions. What are they really feeling? Who's behind this? How could I get them to X? What should I be on the lookout for? What's the best way to X? What's really going on here? But again, Jeoi, you can pick a different question if you would like.
I think because this is still a data read, what's really going on here fits quite well, because it is a numerical description of the situation.
Sure.
But from there, one can extrapolate, and that can be the laser feelings part.
Okay. Yeah. So is that like what's really going on here?
Yeah. So I think the question I would like to answer is what's really going on here. So maybe based on, I don't know, the speed of the orbit, or like the way the thrusters are pointing, or some other type of thing, or this particular landmass the ship is pointed at, the make of the ship. I get a feeling of what the ship is here for.
You kind of check a broad spectrum analysis using your superior sensors, and you notice that there are some oddly ionized particles clinging to the hull of the ship, which is slightly burned. Like some of the steel plating is carbonized, and this type of ionization is consistent with a anomalous reaction with atmosphere, with a planetary atmosphere. So you intuit from this that this spaceship has been in an atmosphere recently. There was a fairly large chemical or other reaction between the makeup of the ship or something the ship was doing, maybe its shields, and the atmosphere of the planet. Because you got a critical, you're able to very quickly compare what you see on that ship to the atmosphere of Karos-Theta II, and you can be certain that this ship was in the atmosphere of this planet, or something with an atmospheric makeup that is nearly identical, which does not exist elsewhere in this system.
And does the ship look like it is leaving? It was leaving and then stopped in orbit, or did it just kind of overshoot where it was coming from and like dipped in and was like, "Oh no, I didn't mean to go there," and then
It
kind of backed out a little?
it is parked in orbit like it means to be here for some time. It's close enough to send down like away ships or to do planetary teleportation if they have that technology. And their weapons are not active, but this is a ship that is armed, and they are positioned in a way that they're not all the way tucked behind like a sensor shadow, but they are trying to. It seems like they're maybe trying to be sneaky, and the type of ship is a. This is going to be a. So, colloquially, these are known as dingoes, because these are kind of on the small end of a freighter, but they're both fast and well armed, so they're good scavenger ships.
I click onto the intercom and I relay this information to everybody on the ship. And for everybody on the ship, they are used to this. It sounds like there is a douchebag who is talking to them and informing them of the situation at hand, and everyone feels slightly diminished.
Now, Mike, Deepwave has never been to Karos-Theta II. Deepwave has spent a couple weeks on Karos-Theta I. Does this in any way equip them to know things or even intuit things about Karos-Theta II?
So, what you heard at a bar on Karos-Theta 1 was that the people of Karos-Theta 2 have only been there for a couple of generations. They kind of emigrated there from another planet, but the group that went to Karos-Theta 2 was like very peaceful and chill and focused on kind of interdependence and community building. And so they are very much in the like they do interplanetary trade, but not a lot because they're largely self-sufficient, and they try to stay off of people's radars because they're not armed, and really they just want to do their own thing. And so most of the kind of, if people are coming to the Karos Theta system, they're going to Karos Theta 1.
A vibe I respect.
But after a little bit of analysis and communication, you get a hail from that spaceship.
Have we been hailed before? Or have we managed miraculously to not be hailed?
I think if you're stopping at space stations, you probably would need to communicate there. So you probably had the chance to operate the comms already.
Mm-hmm. I think the first time we were hailed established that Rek is not the person you want talking to somebody else, especially if the somebody else pilots a larger ship with guns. So I like to think that like the hail like pings in the cockpit or something, and perhaps everybody or one designated speaking person just goes in a full sprint towards the cockpit to answer before Rek can open the channel.
I feel like that's supposed to be me.
I think we could also make Shelly do it. Now, it'd be mean to make Mike talk to himself, but Shelly is logically the normal one.
That is true.
I think Shelly, what's the excuse I can come up with for not having to talk to myself?
Laryngitis.
Oh. Yeah, I think
Shelly's got space laryngitis.
Yeah, Shelly is like curled up in a space blanket in the corner by the by the engineering console, and says, "Please don't make me talk to them," and then sips some tea.
Oh, Rex made her a giant hot toddy. The mug is as big as her entire skull. Is Shelly human?
Yes, Shelly is.
Yes.
Shelly is like 5'4", brown hair that when you met her was like super put together in a bun, but now it's kind of become more horizontally levitated as like her hair's a little bit frizzy and y'all are still figuring out the sonic showers.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yes. Okay. Just mug the size of her whole skull. Honestly, when it was full, it was close to half of Deep Wave's weight.
Fortunately, um, uh, the omnigender bathroom is just right off of the bridge.
Rec clicks the ship comms again when Shelly's like pained voice drifts in from the vent or something from the engineering room and says, "Call sign Deepwave and call sign Luna. Our designated speaker is weak. Will one of you open the comms? As apparently I am not allowed to."
I
Deep
can take care
Wave?
of that.
Go ahead.
And I immediately start sprinting towards the bridge.
All right, so you're able to get to the bridge, no problem.
Hmm.
The comms have been ringing for the equivalent of like 15 seconds. So keep that in mind as you answer and pick up.
Hmm.
I will follow just to listen.
Okay.
Um, I turn on the comm very like hurriedly, try to straighten myself uh in front of the screen to make it look like I had not been running for 15 seconds. Um, hi.
Hi. Hi is how you greet the Majestic 3, flagship of the stewards? Who is this?
Hi, I'm Luna. We've never met before. I'm pleased to make your acquaintance. I've never heard of the stewards before. Can you tell us more of the stewards and what their stewardship entails?
What is your ship? Who are you? Who do you represent?
This is the crew of the Partridge. We represent the crew of the Partridge and all things noble and friendly everywhere in the universe. What do you represent?
The stewards are a peacekeeping and exploration oriented interspecies governmental organization dedicated to the life of all sentient beings. I'm
That
frank.
sounds rad.
I'm
We're into the
frankly
same things too.
surprised that you haven't heard of us. I'm Steward Docent Jarsik. The High Steward is on the planet right now, overseeing the crisis which has arisen for the poor people of Karos-Theta II.
Crisis? What's happened here?
There has been an unfortunate ripple effect in an environmental phenomenon which we observed as we were passing into the system. And unfortunately, we were unable to reach the people of Karos-Theta II before this phenomenon was able to become self-perpetuating. And so the High Steward is coordinating the people on the planet in order to deal with the situation. Your assistance is not needed.
Not needed, sure, perfectly understandable. But would it still be welcome?
And you audibly hear like a breath of frustration from Stuart Docent Jarsik. I wish to see your visage on screen. And so, like, you're getting video now
Mm-hmm.
from a. It's hard to tell heights just on a view screen, but this person has the vibes of someone who is as wide as they are tall, with a very square head, kind of military buzz cut, like gray hair and like bushy eyebrows, with like fairly light skin and just impossibly white teeth.
Off screen and I guess off the channel, Rec does the android equivalent of rolling her eyes and says to Deepwave, "Great. They've got people with personality."
Deepwave says, "Why don't we invite him over for a Martian hard lemonade?"
I wish to see your
Neighborly
visage.
thing to do.
Partridge, activate your visual transmitters.
What are the state of the
Wait.
cameras on the Partridge? I imagine the state of all of the cameras on the Partridge is terrible at this
They're
point.
Does
fine.
Luna know how?
Oh, yeah, I know
Deepwave
how. I just-
sure doesn't.
I know how. I also know that it's probably gonna suck and it's probably gonna look very terrible.
So you're getting like 1440p video from them, and you're sending 720.
720 is better than what I was worried we would send.
It's just a little
But we
fuzzy.
definitely have like a fake background behind us.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not our bridge. It looks like a beach.
Oh yeah, we have to turn on the blur setting on the camera so they don't see that there are visible sparks coming from the walls behind us. But yeah, I mildly adjust my pompadour as I come up on screen.
I'm a reconnaissance drone, so I deploy the holographic camo to create a beach scenery behind Luna. So I'm just standing behind Luna looking like a beach scenery, and it's very convincing.
Partridge, I see you have a very festive bridge. I hope that is not deleterious to operational capacity.
No, this is just our bridge is presently under renovation.
Deepwave kicks Luna.
It
Deepwave just straight up kicks Luna in the shin with their very little foot.
Ow, that hurt.
Please explain your purpose for being in this system while we are conducting an important crisis management operation.
We were just passing through,
Tourism!
just as you, for our own economic purposes, and then saw that you seemed to be in danger as a result of the deleterious effects of this territory's atmosphere on your own shields, and were worried about you, and then you hailed us. If there is something threatening the people here, we would like to help.
Your offer for assistance of our ship is... I will take it in the manner in which I believe you mean to offer it, which is kindness, but it is quite disrespectful, in fact, to the Majestic 3 and our engineers, which keep it in incredible shape.
Of course, and I mean no disrespect, but sometimes things happen, and you need to do what is necessary to help those in need whenever a potential tragedy occurs. It would be a shame if, on a day like this, your wonderful engineers are forced to have to deal with another issue that might affect the safety of your ship and those on board.
So, Rek, behind Stuart Docent Jarsic, you see some very interesting readouts on one of the Majestic 3's screens.
Oh!
They translate from kind of like space blocky text language into Necessarium delivery 3 delayed. And you, and of course anybody on the ship, know that Necessarium is the primary material used in the operation of hyperspeed cores and drives.
Of course, of course.
Am I the only one who saw that, or
I think
did everybody else see that too?
I think you may be the first to notice it.
Okay.
Because it's at about a 70-degree angle, but your kind of your android robotic senses are able to kind of recontextualize the extended or like Doppler affected characters and recontextualize them into the data that they actually are.
Deepwave calls over Luna's shoulder. Hey, we know you've got this like 100% under control, right? But the work goes faster with more hands, so, we're being neighborly here.
Okay, I think the steward docent just wants you to go away. And if you would like to kind of change that relationship status quo, it's probably going to take a roll. And
I would like to roll feelings because I am making an overture of friendliness.
certainly, are you an expert in this type of thing?
Deepwave is pretty good at making friends, yes.
Great.
Deepwave has a great many friends in many bars across this galaxy.
Do you think they are
and 3 others besides.
Prepared for this type of negotiation slash kind of sway type activity?
Expert, yes. Prepared, no.
Okay.
Because usually Deepwave is at like closer range with a
Sure.
person when they're making friends.
Okay. So that sounds like it's going to be 2D, and you're going for feelings, and your number is 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there any way I can get an assist from Luna on this, given that Luna has also been making overtures of friendliness?
Mm-hmm. I would argue
Certainly.
that the entire conversation that we had up to this point was my attempt to do so.
Yeah. So do you think Luna is an expert in that type of kind of that work and or prepared to do so?
If Luna's not an expert in this, we're in trouble. Your entire goal.
Yeah, a lot of I would say that that everything that I do up to this point is constant expertise and preparedness and attempting to gain the trust of other people.
Okay. Well, then why don't you give me a 3D roll? And this is feelings for you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And your number is 3, so you're looking for 3s and up to then give Deepwave a bonus. So that is 1 success. And since I established that 1 success on an assist adds a complication, I think what this means...
Hang on, 3 and up, or...
yeah, 3 enough is 2, and so you just succeed, no consequence. So Deepwave, take plus 1d. Thank you,
Okay,
Iori.
so that's 3d6 from me. A 3, a 1, and a 4.
Okay.
My number was 2.
So that's 2
So
successes.
I have 2 successes.
Great. And I think what that will do is it will shift the steward docent from kind of demanding and a bit overbearing to neutral. And so you talk a little bit back and forth. Deepwave gets into the conversation, and the steward docent says, "Very well, if you need to visit the surface or conduct some kind of business, we will allow it. As long as you are not interrupting our crisis response activities within the city."
So I want to make sure of one thing, because my roll did include a 3, which is my number.
Ah, yes.
So I want to know if I can trust this person.
No.
Okay, cool. So we conduct this conversation entirely as if nothing has happened, and then we take off the comms, and I turn to Deepwave and go, "I don't want to be this person's friend," and that's saying a lot. We should go down there.
This is the first time that Deepwave has ever heard Luna say that she doesn't want to be someone's friend. Deepwave is alarmed.
Rek looks at Luna and goes, "Wow."
I know, right? It's not very often that someone gives me bad vibes. I think something's happening down there, and we should probably see what.
Okay. Do you think your ship has a shuttlecraft, teleporters, or something else for getting to the surface? This is a cop ship.
I think it's too small to have shuttlecraft. It's probably teleporters.
Okay. Who all is going down to the surface?
I think we're going to all go together and leave Shelly in charge of the ship.
Please don't make me go down there.
Are you okay by yourself?
I would just love to stay mostly horizontal, and I think I figured out how to kick back the captain's chair and turn the console, so I'm good.
before
Okay.
they go to the surface, Deepwave does make another massive hot toddy in the galley and scuttles it over to Shelly.
Thank you. This is honestly soul healing, but unfortunately my throat is the thing that hurts.
If they
There's
start
lemon in
shooting,
it.
I mean, I do feel better, but I think maybe I feel better because you care. My coworkers back at the lockup didn't really care. It was very much a like, they're all just trying to get noticed by some fancier cop so that they can get out onto a patrol ship like the one we stole.
The only reason Deepwave is able to give Shelly the hug that she deserves is because she is in the reclined chair and therefore at an accessible height.
Thanks, Deepwave. I'm really glad that I came with you all, even though my life is now totally in shambles.
Rex
yeah, we're
is
sorry
looking
about
at
that.
all of it. Rec cuts in at this point with, "Why are you so weak?"
I'm a mere human, Rek. I could not attempt. I could not even dream to be a specimen of majestic mechanical android superhumanness.
I turn to Rek and go, you know you can get viruses too, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't stop me from doing my job.
Okay, why don't y'all head to the teleporter pad? I got you from here.
Shelly, if they start shooting, please let us know. We will be back here as soon as possible.
The shields look fine, so we should have at least a little while if the stewards decide to get frisky.
Okay. Don't die. It's against the school rules. And then I go into the teleporter.
Okay. Great. What do you all think these
Teleportation party.
Yeah, what do these teleporters look like? What's the vibe when you teleport down to the city at Karos-Theta II?
I like to think that Rec personally hates teleportation.
So I think it's probably not a super big deal for us, but to other people, it looks like we just got PowerPoint transitioned away.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Just fully star wiped.
Yeah. So we star wipe in from the partridge and star wipe out to a wide shot of a like kind of sort of like the Alps / North Pole in a in like a cartoon, in like a holiday cartoon. So we've got mountains in the distance, and then there's like various buildings kind of into the foothills of the mountains, and it's snowing, but as the kind of camera zooms in toward a town square, it turns and there is like a bubbling volcano a few degrees off to one side, which doesn't seem like it's congruous with the rest of what's going on. And so that seems a bit strange. And there's a bunch of like kind of white lights tied up to various buildings, and then a couple of other lights that seem to go with the flag of this country. And so there's like there's blue lights and silver lights kind of dangled from various places, and but it's decorated like somebody decorating their freshman dorm room for a like a holiday of lights. It's really meager for some reason, but the like the town square here is fairly active, but mostly there's a string of people coming from a really new looking kind of ugly boxy building that's at the edge of town that has a smokestack with smoke coming out from it. And there's just a few people in the town square. You teleport into the town square, and then all around you are very like mostly unassuming, kind of like stoat people with fur that varies from like white to sandy brown to black. There are some other folks that are more like close humanoids, more like Vulcan, Klingon, human, Romulan, but the majority kind of ancestry of the people of Karos II seems to be this kind of bipedal, like 2 meter tall stoat people.
If they're all 2 meters tall, then Deepwave feels a little extra short today.
Yeah. And what is your like in Lasers and Feelings, by default you have a spacesuit, a legally distinct from but very similar to tricorder, and a legally distinct from but very similar to phaser. Do you think that that's the kind of gear that would have been on the Partridge when it was a cop ship, or do you think you have something else?
I think there's like extremely heavy, poorly sized laser-proof vests.
Sure.
There are definitely phasers. The first thing we did with those was try to figure out how they could be set to stun.
They can be set to stun.
Discard all the ones that don't.
So they can be set to stun, but on each and every one of them, you discovered that the stun had been turned off. But like it didn't take a lot to turn it back on, but it was done in such a way that probably at least Deepwave would have might have been able to intuit was intentional. And then those who are more feelings inclined might have some feelings about why and how that was done.
Oh, so no, Rek's the one who has lasers. So Rek would be able to figure out, oh, they broke it on purpose a little.
Right. Yeah. Rek would know that. Thank you.
Yeah. Because I am an android, can I say that when I'm in a cockpit, I'm in like a vague humanoid shape, but then when I'm out and about mewing and whatever, I'm like a little flying thing. Like I fold up into a, like not quite a Destiny type thing, but something similar to that. Larger, obviously, because I have to conserve mass and all of that.
Sure. Could you tell me a little bit more about what your kind of your away ship or like away mission form looks like? Like are you animal shaped in some way? Are you like geometric, like fractal shape or something else?
I think because I was originally designed as a reconnaissance model, I'm like very hyper military, futuristic, geometric, Call of Gears of Modern Duty type of shape.
Oh, okay. So you're like
also, Jeoi, I hope you don't mind. Because Deepwave struggled to understand what part of this version of Rek is the face, Deepwave did put googly eyes on you.
I'm okay with that.
So,
just so that we know what face to look at.
I'm imagining like a maybe slightly larger version of one of the drones from an early cutscene, like preview cutscene from The Division. But like,
yes.
Probably like with symmetry, so that you could be pointed in any direction, which then necessitates the googly eyes. I feel like the googly eyes probably shake as you're as you're just kind of hovering, because you're constantly like making micro adjustments.
And also because I looked very intimidating at first, and both Luna and Deepwave and Shelly with their arm of the law input said that this was like too intense for people that we definitely didn't want to start fights with. You know the evil penguin in the Wallace and Gromit short, The Wrong Trousers?
I believe so.
Yes, the evil penguin does crimes as a, quote, rooster, and the disguise of this evil penguin is taking a rubber glove and sticking it over its head, and this somehow has everybody fooled into thinking that he's a rooster.
Okay.
So Luna took a nitrile glove and like stuck it over like the uppermost prong of the Call of Gears of Modern Duty shape that is that is Rek as a drone.
Okay.
So not only do the googly eyes shake, but there's like an inflated rubber glove that's going
Got it.
at the top.
So you teleport in, and one of the stoat people gasps and drops their like basket full of various goods. What's going on? Stewards! Stewards! And like they're kind of looking, like kind of raising and like waving a hand to someone outside the square.
It's fine.
Deepwave
It's
steps
fine.
between this person and Rek and goes, "Whoa, hey, sorry, didn't mean to scare you. We're just down here to check things out. We are just tourists. It's cool. We are not here to, get in anybody's way."
Woohoo! We are just here for a tourism. We do not mean any harm.
Just want to take some nice scenic selfies in this gorgeous, gorgeous landscape of yours.
Like this person is like just kind of letting out air. A roll might be able to change this person's disposition.
I am happy to roll feelings, but I also want to check. We are all speaking intergalactic common, or does Deepwave have like the equivalent of their interstellar Berlitz book out? Sturlib book?
I think for ease of play, there is a very widespread omni-translator device that will let you speak and be heard in Karos-2's kind of local languages. And Karos-2 is not so isolated that they don't also have that technology. For most people, it's on like a wristlet or a necklace or an earring or something like that.
Yes. Okay. On one of Deepwave's massive ears, we've got a very, very gaudy translating earring.
Yep.
So, let's see. I am certainly an expert at putting people at ease, so that should put me at 2d6. Okay. I would like to argue that using the translator also makes me prepared for this interaction.
Sure, and you knew that you were going to go where people were, so this is not a surprising eventuality for you. So go ahead.
So that gives me 3d6.
Can I provide an assist? Because we did clarify earlier that the stoat people are 2 meters tall, while Deepwave is significantly shorter than this. And
Deepwave is 1.5 meters and therefore looks super non-threatening.
And so as the stoat person like looked around to try and see, Deepwave, Rek slowly meandered downwards to bring the eye line down.
Sure.
To be like, here's where the shorter person is. You should look at them.
Okay, I'll let that go ahead and just add a die without a separate test, since this is a little bit lower stakes.
That takes us up to 4d6.
All right.
5, 6, 2, 5. So that's 3 successes, and I rolled my number.
Okay. So you get some laser feelings about the situation or this person in specific.
I'm going to spend that laser feelings on the question, what's really going on here?
Okay, so kind of you're able to put this person at ease. They introduce themselves as Elise, Aleese, who uses they or she pronouns. And Elise kind of does everything big. So they were surprised big, they were worried big, but she's also then easily and fully turned into hospitality. And so she's very, very chatty. And
because I'm teeny, does she think that my teeniness is cute and non-threatening and this is contributing to friendliness?
Yeah, I think because you're the one mostly talking, as she's putting back together their basket full of stuff, will kind of stay at that hunch down level to chat with you. Because I think Elise is even a bit taller than that 2 meters, so squatted down is kind of about on target or close enough.
Deepwave being closer to the ground is also helping pick things back up.
Very nice. And so with the success and what's really going on here, you get a little bit of her life story, but are able to guide the conversation to the last like 2 to 3 months when the stewards arrived and told them about the environmental crisis. But and they said that they got delayed, and so we didn't even notice that it was happening until they were already here, and there was the burning in the sky, and then the sleeping mountain woke up, and we didn't know that there were any volcanoes when we came to this planet, or my great grandfather came to this planet, with all of the other colonists. And it's been pretty great here. We don't travel to other planets very much because we just mind our own business and everything works fine. But it's been really scary the last couple of months, and thank goodness for the stewards, because without that, I don't think we would have known that we needed to increase our necessarium yield so thoroughly, to be able to help them build the device to deal with the environmental crisis. And she's completely earnest about this thing, but the story sounds fishy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she will tell you in conversation that most of the people in this city, which is called New Amity, have changed what they're doing to working in the Necessarium mines and refinery. The refinery is the building kind of on the edge of town, because the stewards have said that their ship is going to be able to fabricate a solution for the environmental crisis, but it requires just an extraordinary amount of Necessarium that they've been kind of shuttling up to the ship in orbit.
Throughout this story, does Elise ever say what the environmental crisis actually is, or is it the volcano?
So it's the volcano and a accumulation of it's not carbon dioxide, but it's the equivalent of carbon dioxide for this environment, because we're in wacky spaceland. So the air is going to become damaging to the populace, and it's been happening very fast just over the last couple of months, because and Elise says, I don't really understand the science, but the chief steward, Krusum, said that it was some sort of refractally self-perpetuating deleterious chain reaction. I'm a gardener. I don't like, if you need information about fertilizers and crop rotation, I'm your person. I don't know the other stuff. I leave that to the stewards.
So is there anything that you need? What are you trying to do here?
Well, and then Elise kind of looks to the meager decorations. It's almost renewal, and everybody's working at the mines and the factories, and there really hasn't been time to decorate, and I've barely been able to put together everything that I need to make my gifts for my friends and my neighbors. And I feel like renewal is just going to get forgotten because of all of the crisis. And I mean, we all want to be able to breathe, but I always look forward to renewal so much. And, when it's cold, you're not outside so much. You don't see friends as much. So you have to make special effort. We open the community center, and just everybody's so busy.
Is there a thing that we can do to make everyone available right now?
Well, the steward says that it's really important that we keep up the pace of production to be able to maintain the Necessarium shipments, and that we could reschedule renewal. And they don't understand it. They're trying to help. I don't want to, the mayor is not going to get angry at them because they don't understand that renewal has to come at a very specific time because of the rotation of the planet, and it fits into the social calendar and everything. And from their perspective, this is all just a distraction from the work. But if you want to help, I could take you to the mayor's office. It's just down the road here. It's always close to the city center because there's activities, and there was supposed to be a renewal market, but everybody's working.
I would love to go and
We came
see
here
the
for the
mayor.
renewal market.
Oh, well, you'll have to come back when everything is settled. My cousin makes the absolute best hot cider.
Ooh,
I
my
believe you.
favorite.
And yeah, Elise will lead you to like the mayor's office, which is just like a 3-minute walk away. The city is not especially large, but then there are like, you do see kind of like light rail that kind of goes out from the hub, and we have the city center here, and then there's like light rail stations that are pretty nearby. This seems like a great place to be, except for all of the whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely need to ask the mayor a question.
Okay. Yeah, you can get to the office. It is into evening, but I think the mayor keeps long hours as well, and so there's like a smaller stoat person kind of at the front. There are 2 or 3 people seated at like nicely carved wooden chairs who are maybe like waiting for appointments or something, and you can hear there's some kind of conversation happening in the room behind the reception area that has a closed door, which is presumably the mayor's office. And the person at the reception desk said, hello, the mayor has a bit of a line, but I'm sorry, we don't have chairs, but you're welcome to stand here to get out of the cold. But it may be a little while. He's been on the phone for a bit.
Well, it is kind of urgent. We wanted to verify some things regarding some of the work that you're presently doing in the area. We wanted to know if there is any way that we could help, perhaps.
Are you with the stewards?
No. We're the crew of the Partridge. We represent the crew of the Partridge and all friendly and noble things everywhere in the universe. Hi, I'm Luna.
Hi, Luna. I'm Deck.
Deepwave has their selfie stick out and is taking a photo in front of the mayor's seal. Like, really playing up the I'm a harmless tourist vibe.
Okay, great. So yeah, Deck says, well, the stewards arrived, right as things were getting difficult, and the mayor is in there talking with the chief steward, trying to make sure that we're keeping up with all of the production targets that the steward set for us.
Mm-hmm. So I can ask you a question and you'd be able to tell me then, surely?
I'll do what I can.
What does the steward do with the shipments?
They're developing a technology on the spaceship to deal with the environmental ripple cascade. They use several different words. I was more of a math person than a science person.
Mm-hmm. Does it ever feel like the words change or no longer mean the same thing from one moment to the next?
I feel like my semiotic annihilation threshold for scientific language is really low. Like you say the word road 5 times and then it doesn't mean anything anymore. When they start talking about like covalent bonds or anything, it's just like.
Mm-hmm. Noted.
While this conversation is going on, Rex's googly eyes are pointed towards the mayor's office, and as a reconnaissance drone, I am reconnaissancing.
Absolutely, yeah.
the conversation that's going on in there.
There aren't any like specific protections, and it's just a normal door, so I think you can just straight up hear. The mayor is in the office, and the conversation is on speakerphone because the mayor is pacing. And the mayor says, well, I mean, we have 80% of the people in the town and the colony even are working in the necessarium operation. I can't really reassign or ask any more people to reassign the work that they're doing. We still need food and power, and the engineers have to work. And then a voice comes through the speaker. Surely you understand that this is an absolute planetary scale crisis, and we are falling behind on the quota, and I don't know if there's something else that you need to be saying to your people to convey how serious this situation is. We came here to do a job, and it's really important that you work with us on this. And this steward is just like rolling over the mayor, and everything is about doing more, working longer hours, convincing people to take this seriously. And it just comes across as number must go up.
Rek is getting flashbacks. Yes, Rek is getting flashbacks to her primary designer, who got really, really pissy as due to the outcome of an error that he made in her programming that made her sound like an absolute douchebag, and said that it was super important that she sounded nicer for service, and she did not understand that.
Yep.
But she is getting flashbacks to that general vibe.
So yeah, the conversation kind of continues in the same vein as we return to the kind of the chat in the reception area. And so Deck had just talked about kind of getting science language going over their head. Oh, I'm sorry. Everything has been so busy. I haven't been able to put on coffee, but I can make some tea now. Where our resource allocation systems are really running behind because so many people are working on the emergency project. And they kind of get up and tutter over to like kind of a hospitality area.
Oh, you don't need to worry about us if it's trouble. Is there anything we can help you with?
You all seem like really nice people, and I could absolutely use the help. Would you be able to go 2 doors down and ask for Alec to come and fix the hot water thing? It's been sputtering, and I burned my hand this morning, and it still hurts.
Oh yeah, of course we can do that.
Deepwave elbows Rek, which is kind of difficult because Deepwave got to reach out to do it. He goes, hey,
Rek goes,
isn't that something you could handle? Rek, do you think you can fix the pipes for this nice person?
Are they even the pipes for a ship?
Pipes are pipes, aren't they?
Yeah,
can't be that different from our plumbing.
I mean,
plumbing.
If it's not a problem, if it sounds like maybe you're an engineer. When we built these buildings, we wanted to make sure that repairs were really easy. So, and they go over and open a door, which is basically lets you go into a walking crawl space, and gets you to the back of all the electrical and pipe furnishings for ease of repair.
By revealing this enticing, mysterious environment, my curiosity is excited. So
Come on, Rek, let's go have a look.
I over.
So it would take you
Heatwave just goblin marches behind.
It would take you a maximum of two minutes to fix this.
Okay.
You don't have to roll for this. This is basic engineering stuff. These folks just all seem overwhelmed and harried.
Oh. Well, why not? It is here.
Yeah. So you can fix that while Luna is in the reception area, and while they're doing that, you can kind of overhear stuff from the there's what appears to be a mom and 4 or 5 year old kid who are who's the the mom's spouse has not come back from the refinery in 3 days. And so they're like trying to ask what's going on, and they turned us away at the refinery, and like she's relaying the story to either Luna, if Luna's curious, or the other person who is sitting in line.
Oh no, I'm definitely curious. As this conversation is happening, I kind of lean towards the mother and go, so what happens to the necessarium?
Well, they refine it in the refinery, and then it goes on the shuttles up to the Majestic 3, where they put it into, where the engineering department, I understand, and the science team is producing the, I think they called it a counter agent.
Do you know what that does?
It fixes the atmosphere. That's what they said.
So they haven't fixed the atmosphere yet.
They said there's a critical, and like at this, the kind of this person looks to Deck, like critical mass. I think they said sufficiency.
Have they done anything to repair the atmosphere at all since they got here?
I mean, the fire in the sky stopped, so they did something.
What fire?
It was like the day before they teleported down to the city. There was like a fire in the sky, like in the distance, like a meteor shower, but smokier.
Does anyone have like any video of that when that happened?
Like at this, the kind of the folks of Theta II kind of chatter amongst themselves, and like, yeah, I think Saki actually got some video. I'll send them a message, and like gets on their phone.
I'd like to see that. Random question: do we have comms?
I think your phones are probably like the tricorder equivalents are comms.
Well,
because
yes.
It's we're Star Trek from 2022 projecting forward, and so you have like the base is a smartphone.
I send a message to Deepwave that goes, I think I want to be these people. I think I want to be these stewards' friends even less. I'm pretty sure. I think they triggered a bomb to frighten these people. Question mark? Question mark? Question mark?
Deepwave writes back, "Oh, that's bad. I don't like bombs."
I think they're faking this entire thing just to get this necessarium, whatever.
Rek, who is quietly doing soldering things and fixing things, pings, because I'm guessing their googly eyes are spinning around.
I think we could probably make an argument that Rek's communication and capabilities are built in, so Rek is just getting text messages straight to the brain.
Yeah, for sure.
The worst life to live, to be sure.
At certain times, this is probably just hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Rek pings back the entire report of the scan that she did initially from the ship, and with like an analysis of the weird ion stuff around their ship, and then the weird things going on with the atmosphere, and then like concluding that with supposition they tried to enter the atmosphere, caused the flame by existing in the atmosphere, then managed to turn that around and leverage it into a beneficial situation for them. Which means, of course, they are inept, says Rek with particularly savage punctuation. It indicates they can't even land a craft right.
Fair, but it takes a certain kind of wickedness to turn that kind of failure into an opportunity to fool an entire community.
Deepwave is typing. Deep Wave is typing.
Before Deep Wave finishes, the seated stoat person kind of flick forwards you a video that that other person sent you, and you get a fairly somewhat grainy and really zoomed out, like basically smartphone video of just like a streak and like chain combustion, multicolored combustion environmental phenomena streaking across the sky, consistent with Rex supposition.
Yeah.
All caps. Useful trouble time? Question mark.
Rec pings back the philosophy that probably got them in jail in the first place, which is all trouble is useful trouble.
Okay.
So what do we make a mess of first? The necessarium or these stewards themselves? Because I don't think these people actually need any of these shiny rocks for anything.
Yeah, like a very mild rate of necessarium extraction would be enough for them to kind of keep their whole economic system afloat. And the stewards are having them operate at 10x that.
I want to ask two stupid questions. One, can we access the particles sensors from our own devices while they're still on the surface?
I think Shelly can probably do that for Rec, but maybe not anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Is Shelly awake to see what's happening in the group chat right now?
So like
just like sending increasing amounts of question marks.
Right. Like I think maybe 60 seconds after the good trouble, a message from Shelly shows up of, "Are you okay?" Question mark, question mark.
All caps. Of course, we're discovering we can make a scene over here. You're missing everything. I'm so very sorry.
Do I need to
writes, "We're okay. Planet not okay. We're gonna fix it."
Shelly, a little bit slower than maybe otherwise, texts, "How can I help?"
Rec pings back. Can you teleport to the stewardship, give them your disease, and make them weak?
No, not that. Keep resting. Please don't get up. But can I ask you to run some scans for us?
Honestly, I think this is like strep throat, and yeah, I can do some scans. Rec, do you want me to just link you to the systems?
That is an affirmative.
Okay. Last time I did this, you said that it was a lot. So I'm just reminding you that, like, maybe this will hurt.
Rec says aloud to Deep Wave, because I'm assuming we're still in the cross space doing the thing. Rec says, "Call sign Deep Wave. Remove my googly eyes."
Deep Wave uses their little goblin nails to peel off the Google eyes.
I think we get like powerful major chord, like dun dun.
It's like taking off a power limiter for a Sayuki character or something.
Yeah, and when Rec gets linked up to the sensors, it's like Galaxy Brain.
It's good I took off those googly eyes. They really would have distracted me.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I think first I'm going to try and see if I can do another scan of the steward's ship, to try and get a read on if they are actually doing with the Necessarium what they say they're doing, or
Sure.
are they just kind of stashing it in their bellies
Right.
like a weird
Mhm.
little piggy bank of rocks.
Yeah. Now that the ship is in orbit with your ship, the Partridge is in orbit with the Majestic 3, your powerful sensors will be able to go to the interior of the Majestic, but that is much more noticeable. So if you get a mixed success or a failure here, you will likely have been found out to have been scanning them, doing like a deep scan.
Mhm.
Well, the great thing about this is that Rek has been told reliably that apparently she sounds like an asshole. So, oops, I guess I just don't know how to deep scan properly, is how they're gonna go with that. So, yeah, I'm deep scanning them.
Okay.
So before we do that,
Yeah.
because I want to do another thing. I want to get another piece of information, but I
Okay.
believe that the piece of information that I want to get is also reliably helping. So, I want to know if Necessarium is chemically volatile.
100%.
Okay, cool. So this is not something that I had to research. So it wouldn't be a thing that
No.
I would have actually looked up. Okay,
It
cool.
is common knowledge. I think Necessarium is like crystal C4.
Yeah, that was what I was imagining. Because I
I-
think then, but
I thought you were
again,
gonna
this
say it was meth.
No, it's fentanyl. Like once it's aerosolized, you're dead.
Mhm.
This is me making fun of people.
Oh, does this mean if it's like fentanyl? Does that mean that when a cop touches it, they have to pretend they're having a seizure?
Uh-huh.
Mhm. The minute it's in their hands and now to drop to the floor and start beginning to die.
It's very awkward because they drop the planted gun that they were about to put on somebody.
Because the thing that I wanted to do was essentially say, well, let's just scan for the Necessarium to know if it's in storage in large quantities. Because that's all we need to know. Because I need to know two things in particular. One, do they have it? And two, does anyone object to us just blowing up this ship? Because at this
You
point, if
were
we
the
just
one
nudge
who
it,
was like, "Let's take all the shit out of our guns so that we don't have guns."
Right. I'd be curious to know how you're going to blow that ship up. But
see, the beautiful thing about having an entire room full of what is essentially crystallized ethyl alcohol that is waiting to just combust is all you have to do is hit them with more crystallized ethyl alcohol and they will combust. And there's more Necessarium right here. We just need a large slingshot
okay. But
or
first,
someone willing to open a door. But first, we need to find out whether they have the thing.
because the Necessarium thing is common knowledge, I don't know that either Luna has to roll to assist, nor do I think that on its own is an assist, because this is knowledge that Rek already has.
Unfortunately.
So, Rek, we've established you're an expert at using sensors. Are you prepared for this work?
I took off my googly eyes. Hell yeah!
Legit. So that's 3 dice.
Rolling. Oh, forgot the backslash. Roll 3d6. That is. Oh no! 2 6s and a 4.
All right. So you're looking for
Lower.
under your 5. So you get one success. So there's good news and bad news.
Yes.
The good news is that in your deep scan, you both established that there is Necessarium in their hold, just stacked up in crates, and your timing is just so that you're able to intercept and splice yourself onto a deep space comm call where Stuart Docent Jarsik is telling someone, yes, the next shipment will be ready tomorrow. I've been promised. However, there have been some difficulties, so the price has been increased by 20%. And the person on the other side like grumbles and says, I can go elsewhere for Necessarium. And then Jarsik says, well, then I can sell Necessarium to someone else. These people are completely clueless, and I can find other customers. Just because we went to college together and played squash doesn't mean that I don't need to make a profit. Justin.
Oh, they played squash and the other one's called Justin. They really do hate each other.
But there's like Jarsik gets like up on the mic enough that then something in the splice makes the sensors on the partridge, like basically a console overloads, and Shelly gets like basically flung to the floor because she was horizontal, and that feedback gets back to Jarsik, and one of the like the ops people on Jarsik's we're kind of, the camera is on the Majestic 3 now. The comms officer, who's like a skinny, prim white woman with like a bun, says, Stuart Docent, we're being, our comms have been hacked by that partridge ship. And Jarsik says, very well, arm weapons. And now we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Well, chat, a break for us is a break for you. Go ahead and refill your drinks. See to yourself as necessary. Make some popcorn. It's about to get wild in here.
Woo! So we've been playing Lasers and Feelings by John Harper, which is a one-page RPG you can get at johnharper.itch.io, and probably some other places because it's cool. We will be back with the conclusion of our Lasers and Feelings adventure as part of our first inaugural Porter's Day special, with the incomplete but still marvelously chaotic Strange Friends crew. We will be back in a few minutes with more. Hello, we are back with the continuation and probably conclusion of our Porter's Day special. The likelihood that we don't get to a conclusion here is fairly low because I'm imagining this as being in keeping with both the original series and Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, where we are an episodic show where things are contained rather than a deeply serial show where everything is unpacked. The emotions are quick, they go back and forth, and we don't have to develop them over 5 different episodes because we are here to have a good time and then have some cocktails.
Here for a good time, not a long time.
Right. Very nice. So if you are just joining us for whatever reason, this is Speculate's Porter's Day special, the first of what we hope will be a long line of end of Gregorian calendar / winter holiday themed hijinks one-shots that Speculate brings you via the Strange Friends crew. And speaking of which, I'm going to try to add the Strange Friends logo that I added to the title screen down here, because this is in fact a Strange Friends production. So we have this logo. We should use it all the time, everywhere. So when we last left our intrepid crew of the Partridge, who speaks for the Partridge, Shelley had just been knocked from her horizontal working station on the Partridge, having assisted Rek in kind of using the sensors. Rek was able to kind of listen into on and record a conversation between steward docent Jarsik and someone named, I think it was Justin, who seemed to be a buyer of Necessarium, giving the lie to the steward's previous... that is more zoomed in than I mean that to be. So let's unpack that. I did some tweaks, so now we are not in super zoom for our friend Iori.
Friend Iori and friend Brandon have swapped identities.
Interesting. That might explain some of the super zoom.
Yes.
Pardon me.
I also only now noticed that.
While I do this. So Brandon, I'm going to modify your thing a little bit so that we don't get a weird yellow thing. And then Iori, I'm going to make your thing a little bit smaller. So now everything should work. I'm going to zoom in slightly on Brandon. As we return to, I think, Deepwave, who has just heard Stuart Docent say kind of weapons hot for the Majestic 3.
Rek heard it.
Rek heard it because I cannot keep those characters' names distinct from one another.
Deepwave is a very robot-y sounding name.
Yeah, I think that's what's throwing me off. The characterization fully distinct. The names not staying put in my brain. So yes, Rek has heard the Stuart Docent give the command to the weapons team to go weapons hot. And your ship is not far from the Majestic 3 at this point. So what do you do?
As a superior machine and all of that other kind of stuff, I dump the clipped recording I have so far of the chat into our chat, because I'm still recording just in case there is more stuff, because I am, after all, a reconnaissance drone.
Sure.
And I beam myself back up into the ship.
Okay. Do you think that you could beam yourself directly to the bridge? And do you think that would take a roll, or are you going to beam back up and then run through the hallways? Or something else?
I guess we need to establish what sort of teleportation a cop ship would have.
It seems like a cop ship would probably have fairly precise teleportation so that they could teleport you into the brig.
Yeah, that's true, because it would be confusing if you had to, and also a security thing if you had to physically walk somebody from a teleporter
Right.
into wherever you're going to keep them. So yeah, I will say that if we're going with that, then I beam myself to the bridge.
All right. And Shelly is like hunched over the console, and the kind of lean back chair is like partially back up, and she's doing her best. And then hears the teleport in, looks over and says, "Oh, thank goodness. Their weapons are heating up."
I know. As drone unfolds into humanoid shape, and now I have like the rubber glove thing going on my head.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I get in, and it's time to do pilot things.
Okay, yeah. So, dramatically, as you slip into the kind of pilot's chair, the Majestic Three's laser weapons rock your shields, and they are kind of closing in on you, and just kind of boom, 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 boom. They're going to tear through your shields if you don't start moving.
Mhm. We're going to do evasive things, and let me see, how military is Rack as a military reconnaissance drone?
Yeah, is this about keeping your ship from getting damaged, or do you have some other kind of ultimate goal for how you're going to be flying here?
I think if I'm walking through like the behavior tree
Mhm.
of Rek as a pilot, I think if everybody was here, Rek's priority would be evading fire and then getting away because recon, not combat.
Mhm.
But because everybody is not here, getting away is not an option. So, hmm. I don't know if the atmosphere is going to heck up our ship the way it appeared to heck up their ship. So retreating to the planet does not seem like a good idea. So I think improvising some kind of combat is the best idea after doing evasive maneuvers so we do not get shot out of the sky.
Okay, so for this role, are you focusing on defense then?
Yes, I'm doing defense stuff first.
Okay. Um, I don't see how you are anything but both expert and prepared for this.
I would
So,
hope so.
um, and we've established that piloting is lasers for you. So why don't we go ahead and why don't you give me that roll?
Rolling 2d6, right? Or is
Should
it
be 3 if you are both expert
3d6?
and prepared.
Oh yeah. Okay, so rolling 3d6. That's a 3, a 4, and a 2. So all 3 lower than 5.
Right. So on a 3, you get a critical success. So
On a 3, oh, 3
3
successes,
successes, right? Because everything was below 5.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so not only do you evade fire, but you're able to like get the upper hand in a big way on them. So if you have an idea of how you might either be able to like partially incapacitate them or put yourself into a superior position, we can establish that now. If you want to think, I can jump to the ground crew and then we can come back to you.
Let us give the ground crew some drama as well.
Okay,
I've
so
done quite a bit.
yeah, we see that that Rek does some cool flying, avoiding the space lasers, and seems to be kind of pulling out from like the Majestic Three, kind of just chasing you. But then we do a kind of side wipe down to the surface, where we're zooming in, and the smokestacks at the refinery are still going, and the streets are still sparsely populated. And we come back to the mayor's office building. So you've received the video and audio from Rek's recording, and the mayor appears to still be on the phone with somebody in the back. The mayor has not come out from the back yet.
I'm just gonna walk into the mayor's office.
Okay. So yeah, I think deck to, please don't do that. It's gonna make trouble.
Deepwave has, after Rek teleported back up, skittered out of the industrial crawl space and is now like just trying to calm deck down.
Sure. So this doesn't take a roll to get to the back, but we're establishing through what Iori said that Deepwave is kind of helping manage deck while Luna goes into the back. So Luna, yeah, you open the door. It's like it was closed but not locked from the inside, and the mayor's office is very unassuming, like big small town civil servant vibes. Like there's a plaque from a local sports team like stacked on top of several layers of manila envelopes, and then there's just a mishmash of like pictures and portraits in various frames, and everything is a bit cramped, and the mayor, who is like a fairly unassuming tall but average build, middle-aged man with kind of like salt and pepper hair pulled back with like not all the way into a ponytail, but like the front pulled into like a braid, and then the rest of the hair just kind of falls back behind, and a fairly unkempt like collared shirt, but it's like, because it's space, it's a high collar, and there's like a little hollow thing, which is maybe like comms or something, like, oh, okay, it's broadcasting the comms from like we have the sports things where you get the audio just goes up from on your collarbone, something like that, but like holographic, and then the kind of comms unit, which looks like a conference call kind of phone, but the receiver goes laterally instead of vertically on the device because space. And you step in and the mayor stops while the high steward is still talking. Like, when we started this operation, you assured me that the people of Karos-Theta II understood the depth of the severity of the situation that you found yourselves in. It does not sound like the people have been keeping up their side of this arrangement that we made when we decided that we were going to be able to grant you assistance. The stewards have many things on our plates, and if you're not going to be able to hold up your side of our agreement, I may not be able to convince the Admiralty to let us continue this operation. And the mayor like looks to the thing and then looks to you and mouths, "Who are you?"
I put a finger to my lips. Is there a notepad or a tablet anywhere nearby?
Yeah, for sure. There's a tablet kind of like, I guess actually it's neatly stacked on top of a set of paperwork.
Mm-hmm. I grab a tablet and start writing on the screen.
So the mayor is kind of just like filling time while you type, and says, "Of course, High Steward, everyone here understands the implications of the atmospheric situation that we find ourselves in," and like is taking pauses and like looking to what you're writing.
I bring back up the tablet towards the mayor, and it reads, "Hi, I'm Luna. Don't trust this man, you're being robbed."
And like looks at it, seems to not be super paying attention to the High Steward, who is just basically repeating the same thing but in different language. Then the High Steward says, "I've been spending my time overseeing the situation at the mine, but it may be that the time has come for me to return to New Amity and work more directly, closely with you, and seeing if there's anything we can do to reapportion or redistribute your people to be able to meet the timeline that we need in order to avoid disaster."
Don't do that. The sky fire was their fault.
And the mayor says, "Hi, Steward, I have, there's been a situation has emerged," and like the mayor kind of starts futzing with the machine. and like turns off speakerphone and then speaks loudly, Steward, 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 and hangs up and says, Luna, do you have any evidence to prove any of this?
Do we still have any of the videos that we just looked at?
Yeah, 100%. You have it on your...
Yeah, I
your
sent you all the copies.
Mm-hmm.
They come with timestamps and everything.
I slide it towards the nearest large screen in the office. And while it's playing, I'm literally still talking to the mayor. So hi, I'm Luna. We've just met. I'm one of the crew of the Partridge. We represent the Partridge and all friendly and noble creatures in the universe. We came here thinking that the people who were robbing you were in trouble, only to learn that they were robbing you. You don't owe these people anything. This necessarium is yours, and they're manufacturing a situation to take it all from you, and that's not right or good. And they're willing to harm your people in order to maintain that control, and we're here to stop that from happening. Where's the mine?
I think Luda's speaking loudly enough that this can be heard in the lobby.
Yeah.
How are Deck and other people in the lobby reacting?
They all seem shocked. I think one of the people, the person that the mom was initially talking to, seems less surprised, but in a way that Deepwave might read as this person already had some suspicions. But overall, the people in the lobby are kind of shocked, and they what you can get from them is that they feel like you all are pretty trustworthy because you've been very nice and helpful, but this is big and scary. And I think in the mayor's office, the mayor is under a ton of pressure, and you have a lot of really good evidence, but you're completely throwing their world into upheaval. So I think that's going to take a role to convince him to take the course of action that you're suggesting.
What are the questions that you were about to ask me again?
Are you an expert in this type of thing, and were you prepared for kind of what you're doing here?
I would say the evidence makes you prepared.
The evidence makes me prepared. If I'm being perfectly honest, I do not think I am an expert in telling people that they're being hoodwinked and I am your only hope.
Okay. That would give you...
I would like to assist.
Okay.
Can I assist by riling up the crowd in the lobby about how they are being fucking exploited?
Absolutely. I feel like you are
If
prepared.
there's one thing Deepwave knows how to start a riot.
I feel like you're prepared because you know these people, like you've been talking with these people, and you've described yourself as someone who would be an expert in getting a crowd riled up. So why don't you give me a 3D roll, and the more successes you get, the better your assistance will be.
All twos.
6, 1, and a 3, so 2 successes.
Okay, and your number is a 2, so that's not laser feelings. Okay.
Not yet.
So 2 successes means that, Luna, you will get plus 1d. So that will take you to 3d, I believe. And this is feelings for you as well?
Yes.
Yep, I would agree.
3d6.
Okay, so that is 1 failure, 2 successes, and that includes a laser feelings. So I'm going to copy the laser feelings questions into chat again for you, Brandon, to see if there's any of these or some other appropriate question that you would like to ask, that your kind of insight into the situation grants you as you are convincing the mayor.
So the question that I definitely want to ask, what is the best way to empower these people to regain control of the situation?
Sure.
Because I really want as much as possible for it to feel like the success of this mission is self-generated by them and not us just being saviors to them.
Right. the sense that you get is that these people were very trusting, and they did not have the scientific equipment to be able to assess what happened in their atmosphere, and they are isolated enough that they didn't know that the stewards are not a thing that any of you all have heard of. So you have specific evidence that they can distribute amongst themselves, and the sense that you get is that the best thing you can do is keep the stewards from interfering further while they reach a consensus among themselves.
Okay, cool.
But you're talking back and forth with the mayor, and the mayor says, "Oh, these are very serious accusations, but this video, that tape, that is the deputy steward, Stuart Docent, and that certainly sounded like just some kind of sale, not people working on a miracle scientific engine that would save our atmosphere. But I don't. The atmospheric disturbances are still happening, and so even if they're robbing us, I don't know what we would need to fix the atmosphere, even if we are going to ask them to leave. So
Right.
I have to call a meeting. I'm going to have to pull everyone from the refinery and from the mines and from the outlying ranches and farms so that we can reach consensus.
Might I say one thing before you do that?
Of course.
Has the mayor noticed that everyone in the lobby is now singing 16 tons together?
I think we hear this over the mayor's breaks as the mayor is trying to keep himself calm. And when we get the reverse angle, we see that there's a big plaque on the facing outward. So the mayor sees it from his office, but you couldn't see it until you were in the room. That says New Amity, founded basically 112 years ago. Amity Teamsters Association, Local 1733. And so this was founded by union folks.
So while I still have the mayor's attention, I just walk over to the door of the office, open the door so we can hear everyone singing, close the door again, and go, "You are under a heap of pressure. I understand that. And something did actually happen in the sky that is a big deal. But what I want you to leave with is understanding, first and foremost, that this land is yours. It belongs to you and all of your people, and the only people who can make any decisions about how it is used are you all. Every single one of you. Not a stranger. They are stewards of nothing. And we are not here to get anything from you. We are here to give you what is yours back. So all that I ask is that you lead us to wherever they might be potentially threatening any of your other citizens. The mine chief among them, which I'm pretty sure is probably being managed by overseers of the stewards, so we can ensure that every single one of these voting members of your citizenry get to come back here and have the conversation you would like to have."
Certainly. They told a very good story about the stewards and everything, but giving you excuses as to why I bought what they were selling doesn't fix anything.
You don't need to apologize to me. They told me they were friendly, and I like making friends.
Yes, the chief steward, Gruesome, he and usually between 5 and 10 of their people are at the mine. They have their own technology that they brought to try to expedite our processes. We try to only take as much from the earth as we need to trade for what we can't make here.
Which I appreciate. But I will head to the mine now. call a meeting with whoever needs to be present. Um, and when this is all over and you've gotten back everything that's yours, I would like us to officially declare each other friends. But that is for a later point when I step out of the office.
So, Deepwave is going to go with Luna to the mine because there's still that guy down there who we need to help.
Right.
And I think Deepwave is able to bring a handful of people from the lobby as a search party because they know the inside of the mine much better than we do.
Okay. Yeah, you have, I think your crowd probably grows as people pass on. Like they've been sharing this video. And so there's like,
the majority are still there, still singing.
Yeah, they're, frustrated, clamoring and a assembling crowd. But when you get to the mouth of the mine, you are met by 4 armed, kind of prim and proper people with 2 with phaser pistols and 2 with phaser rifles. And they say, "What are y'all doing?" And we're going to go back to space. So Jeoi, you've done some amazing flying, and you've put the Partridge into an advantageous position, or gotten the Majestic 3 into some kind of trouble. What did you do? You are muted.
My bad. Hello, I am here, producing sounds with meat. I'm made of meat. But yes, I think that since we've established that the Partridge has these delicious sensors that also go quite deep, and also that I am currently in their system, as it were, from the very first scan that we ever did of the ship, we know that it still has like this weird ionization thing going on.
Yep.
That looks like some kind of damage to the ship. Can I make the case for Rec to use the sensors, because I'm assuming that the sensors must be outputting something of some kind of wavelength.
Yeah.
So can I say that Rec uses these superior sensors to basically microwave the ionization of the ship?
To what end?
To the end that it has no shields anymore.
Yeah. I think you could, like, with the sensors, you could kind of you could create a sympathetic resonance that kind of allow that technobabbles their shields.
Yeah, technobabbles their shields. Yes. Yes. So I can make. So you asked what I had done. I would like to say that is what I did.
Yeah. I think that's a reasonable thing to have gotten done with a crit. And so you've outflown them, and their shields are down, but they are still firing on you.
Okay.
And I think not long after their shields go down, the comms off, or the your ship is being hailed again with like very aggressive text messages of "Talk to us, you cowards. What have you done to our ship?"
Oh God, I still have the fucking rubber glove on my head. Yeah, I answer while I am microwaving their ship.
"Partridge, what deep space sorcery have you done to our shields?"
I have done something absolutely amazing.
"Stand down and prepare to be boarded."
How about no? How about you stand down and stop doing what my 2 companions would call unethical shit?
"We are a fleet-class ship of the Galactic Stewards, and you are no one." So,
blah, blah.
I'm
I
imagining-
take off the rubber glove from my head and like slap the camera with
Okay.
it and turn it off.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So they're angry. Their ship is compromised, and they are probably being even more aggressive and less careful, which means that they are going to start putting some serious damage on your ship unless you are able to maintain your high standard of flying, because they are, they're kind of doing the thing that, what if their ship was a cornered animal, and so it's lashing out?
Mhm. However, you said that it was twice as big as me.
Yeah.
Well, twice as big as us.
Yeah.
Which means I can land on it.
Yeah,
I
that
like the expression you made.
That
It was the
follows
same
from-
expression.
that follows
It
from
was
the
same
fiction.
expression Brandon made when I said I wanted to crickets a cop.
Yeah,
That's the face I made when you revealed that the chicken had a gun.
Yeah. I love that we all have faces and everybody knows what those faces do and mean.
yeah. So the ship will definitely take damage unless you are able to nail this maneuver. But if that's what you want to do, you could definitely make a roll. Do you think you are prepared to try to board their ship / latch onto their ship with yours? Is this something you've done before?
Actually, I'm not trying to board their ship so much because I have militarily classed them as a threat and therefore something to be put out of commission as soon as possible.
Okay.
And I am not interested in one by one dealing with the entities inside this ship. It is
Sure.
just much easier to actually deal with the ship.
Okay. And
So-
as Arudinel said in the chat, Rek is programmed to land. So I think you are
Yes.
prepared here and an expert.
That's all I am. That's all that I'm meant to do. I'm meant to land things. I would like to land on the face of the ship
Okay.
because that will definitely distract them.
Sure. Why don't you give me that roll?
Is that a 3d6?
I think anybody else might be doing this as feelings, but it does seem like Rek is just the sort where this is still lasers.
This is still lasers, yes. Sure hope this works out. That's a 1, and a 5.
So that means you also get laser feelings, right?
I get laser feelings, yes.
So do you have some other bit of information that you would like to get?
Let's see. What are they really feeling? I don't care. Who's behind this? I also don't care. How could I get them to blank? That is interesting. What should I be on the lookout for? I think we already have looked out for everything that's necessary.
Right? Look out for lasers.
Yeah. I guess between what could I get them to look out? I mean, what could I get them to blank, and what's the best way to blank? I think primarily I want to know how to get them to stop doing aggressive things.
Sure.
But also because I know my two companions would want this, how do we get them to undo the damage that they've done? So at the very least, ditch the necessarium that they've already hoarded,
Mhm.
or at least how can we co-opt or take or otherwise commandeer their sciencing equipment.
Sure.
They must have it as it
Yeah.
is such a fancy ship.
So as you kind of land the partridge on the face, more or less, of the Majestic 3, your sensors with like maximum proximity, you're right there. You know where the necessarium is. You know that the only machinery that has anything to do with necessarium is basically space forklifts, because all the necessarium is in their hold, and they have basically a whole like shipping and packing operation where they are taking big shipments of necessarium and putting it into smaller like space shipping crates to be sold off to Justin and others. And So you know where you would need to go for that. You have additional evidence that they're not doing anything special with the necessarium other than selling it. And I think you'll also know how they might be trying to come and get you, which is like to effectively drill through both hulls to try to start boarding your ship.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Okay.
yep, that rattling sure sounds like the hull underneath the bridge and where the ship's face would be. Shelley has gone over to a sliding door panel on the other side of the room and gotten the two phaser rifles that are in the bridge, and has one herself. She's sick, but she's still an ex-cop / prison guard, so she can do this thing, but she kind of is gesturing toward the other one do you want this?
Mm-hmm. Let me see. They probably have too much necessarium for us to actually ferry down.
Sure.
Without making extended trips. One of the things that I had wanted to know more about is how could I get them to stop?
Sure.
So
I think
what
if you drove both of you into the atmosphere, things would get very rough very quickly, but that's very dangerous. You could get them to stop by having basically, if you could remove the commander who's on the ship right now, or get somebody else to take over, because that commander seems to be increasingly agitated and focused on getting one up on you / making up for the kind of loss of face that you've caused.
Okay. In that case, what I'm going to do is because I guess I'm lodged into the face of this ship, is that I'm going to start turning it as though I'm going to try and drive it into the atmosphere.
Okay.
And I'm going to ping the ship.
Partridge, what are you doing?
Hey, I'm a partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge, release your docking clamps immediately.
Oh, no. So, hey everybody, on the Majestic 3, as you know, I'm the person who landed on your ship. I'm an asshole. And I'm also a robot. So, I can't actually die, and I don't care if I take all of you with me. So, maybe someone who is not this person can take over instead, because I don't like him, and so I'm just gonna drive a little faster towards this amazing atmosphere.
So you can definitely roll to get them to relent, but I don't see how this is anything other than feelings.
Yeah.
I do think you will get at least 2 dice, but I don't know that you're an expert at this type of thing.
No, I'm just a dick.
Okay. So you'll give me a 2-die roll, and you're looking for 5s and 6s.
Mm-hmm. Roll 2d6. That's a 5 and a 1.
Okay, so on a 5, you get laser feelings, and what I will let that do to avoid kind of another cycle of questions, and because we're heading toward the end, is I think the laser feelings you get here are just how far you have to push them to get them to back to basically relent. So you are you keep pushing, you're going to be coming into the atmosphere. You don't know when the burning is going to stop, when the burning is going to start, but before you notice any kind of ionization on the ship, which their ship is lower, you get you see on your sensors that their weapon systems have powered down entirely, and a text message from the Majestic 3 says, please don't. The ship nearly blew up last time. That guy's an asshole. Please let us go. And it's signed Lieutenant Dodge.
This is great. I ping my buddies downstairs. Planet side.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and then that's...
At this point, we are outside the mine. Deepwave has gotten someone to give them a map and is now dividing the map up and assigning people sections to search. We are
Excellent.
going to get this guy back.
Okay, great. How are you going to get past the 4 armed guards that don't want to let anybody in who isn't a miner on shift?
Deepwave doesn't really think that's a huge problem yet.
Which one of these 4 armed guards look simultaneously the fittest and most haggard?
So that would be Commander Yelch, who is a probably middle-aged-ish, slightly balding individual who has like big bags under his eyes, and seems like he'd rather be anywhere else.
I take 6 strong paces towards Yelch.
Now, stay right there.
Hi there, I'm Luna.
Luna who?
Luna, that's all that matters right now. I'd like to ask you a very important question. How much do you get paid?
Excuse me?
How much do you get paid?
Kind of look around to the civilians and lean in like, it's not really appropriate for me to discuss here. This is an alien civilization. They have their whole own economic system. I don't want to disrupt it.
Right, sure. And I know that that's probably going to be a disruption for them. And I'm asking if it's a disruption for you. Okay, let me put it to you another way. Do you actually do any labor here? You look like you've been lifting quite a bit of heavy material while you're on this site. Is that correct? You've been moving some crates and stuff?
The High Steward is not happy with the production numbers. We have a timetable to keep. Mm-hmm. And so we've been having to do some extra duty. But we're all in this together.
Yeah, shifting some stuff, loading some crates, stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah, and like
Wave is sitting with their map on a nearby rock and yells, "They're not paying you for that, are they?"
Like, before he can even respond, I take one very strong additional stride right in front of Yelch and go, "You load 16 tons, and what do you get?"
And
not overtime pay, that's for sure.
Because this is, a drama, 4 people in the crowd kind of shout, but in a beautiful choral harmony, the next line of that song. And you see that at the end of that line, Yelch's lips are moving in sync just a little bit. That you get the sense that he knows that song, he gets what's going on, but the more you escalate, the more he's looking to the 3 others. Like, we're not alone here. Like, and there's a bunch of things are happening because he's looking to the crowd, he's looking to you, he's looking to the other people. Mm-hmm. He seems conflicted.
I'm still speaking to Yelch when this happens, but I put my hand on the shoulder of the youngest other officer in his company. And I go, You're here because you thought that you were getting a good deal, and I'm here to tell you no one here is. All of you are expendable. This planet is the planet raw deal, and you're just another pebble on it. The stewards up there are specifically not coming down to meet you because they are not your friends. And yet, I'm here. And I put my hand out for a handshake, and I go, that makes me more your friend than them, right?
Okay, you'll want to give me a roll here.
Mm-hmm. This is the singular thing that I'm both an expert and always prepared for. Making friends.
Yep, I think you've read the situation well enough and made good arguments that you're going to get that full 3D there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is 2 successes because your number is 2, and this is feelings if there ever was. And so I'm just going to keep naming people because everybody, these are all people with their own subjectivities. Ensign Quisler is the youngest one, and they say to Yelch, "Commander, permission to speak freely?" And Yelch is like, "Of course, it's important that officers of the stewards speak their mind." And Quisler says, "Commander, I signed up to the stewards because I was told that we helped people. We're not helping these people. You know this. We all know this. Jarsik is terrifying and Crusom is worse. These are all good people. We should stop this shit." And Yelch looks to the crowd, looks to the people that are still filing into the mine. His comm starts going, and steward docent Jarsik is shouting at them, and so Yelch takes his comms, just cracks it in a big in a still kind of beefy hand, and drops it and says, "Screw this. Let's go ask the mayor if they'll take some if they'll take some immigrants. I like this place. I don't want to mess with them." And kind of just looks to the others and say, "You made your own oaths. You decide what's best for you, but I don't think we should keep doing this." Unfortunately, the other two seem to be much happier kind of towing the kind of space cop line. But there's so many of you that...
Just checking, 2 of them, and how many of us again?
Yeah. It doesn't... you don't need to roll to get them to back off, because there are so many people that they are actually just going to basically tap their communicators and say, "Majestic 3, the situation has escalated. 2 to teleport." And as the crowd kind of closes in on them, they disappear. But now nobody is in your way to do the rescue operation.
It's rescue o'clock.
Yes. So the challenge, Deepwave, is that these mines have been expanded and unpacked and delved into very aggressively, almost 24 hours a day. And so as you're moving through the space, there are a lot of basically a lot of environmental dangers, where there are some tunnels that might collapse. There's a bunch of different places to look. And so I'm curious how you individually, or you with the people of this kind of community, are going to go and find the missing worker.
Deepwave is prepared for this because the community is in the mix with them.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, Deep Wave is armed with people who know the lay of the land, who have been spending hours upon hours in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one extra die.
Do you think they are
Let's
an
see.
expert in this type of search and rescue work?
No, not in search and rescue, just in fucking around in dangerous areas where shit can fall on your head at any moment.
Okay, I think if you're fine to put yourself primarily in the danger, I'll give you that third die. But then it becomes more about your part of the expedition and less about like actively leading everybody.
Deep Wave is going down there because it's important to demonstrate that I'm not going to send people into any danger I'm not willing to take on myself.
Okay, so yeah, why don't you give me a 3-die roll? Is this more lasers or feelings, do you think?
This is feelings because I'm demonstrating my leadership capabilities.
Okay. Cool, let's see those dice.
A 3, a 4, a 2. So that's successes and laser feelings.
Yeah, so that with the laser feelings, that's a crit. And so the laser feelings answer I'm going to offer you is where is the missing miner?
Yes.
And so we get a quick montage of you with some other like both off and on duty miners because story is like word is spreading really fast. So you go 3 levels down. The first level, everything is really like safe and orderly, lots of lights. Second level seems like it used to not get used a whole lot, but is very bustling here. Third level down, there's lights less frequently. You know, there aren't as many like kind of wooden supports that have been put up to stabilize the tunnels. And then you get to the 4th level down, and there is a like basically a pathway that had been labeled as unsafe, but you see that people have gone down that pathway, and you hear from another miner that the stewards insisted that they open up this kind of this wing of the mine because of time being of the essence. And you get a ways down, and there's been a cave-in, and that's why that's why that miner was not coming back. But you have all of the tools and the people necessary that the miners are able to kind of take the lead here and try to communicate with the folks beyond, and are able to dig out their neighbors and other workers from the mine. And the folks there are like pretty dehydrated and may need some treatment for like basically not black lung, but a minor version of space lung. But you're able to get everybody out, and we can come with the group back to the city center where the kind of as the miners assemble, they're able to read everybody else in to the conversation that's happening. And there is a basically a tech assisted like instant vote. Instead of having to like do serpentine and count everybody's votes like verbally or like hand up and down, they have their own kind of voting app. And it's all like very transparent, and it goes up onto a big board, and the kind of like tell the stewards to leave number is kind of like hovering close to the consensus number. And there are a couple of stand-asides, but not enough to reach their, like, we have to keep going number. There is a sufficient consensus to kind of withdraw that that kind of permission and authority from the stewards, and then folks are all cheering. And the mayor kind of turns to the two of you and says, "Well, I heard that a couple of the stewards decided to leave," and then looks over to Yelch and Quisler, and maybe some of those folks that came, we made a good impression on, and we'll we'll figure out what we want to do. They're not stuck here if they don't want to be, and if they don't fit in, and we can't make sure that everybody's going to be happy, then we'll make sure that they get somewhere. And if I don't know where you all have to go, but with the information that we've received, our scientists are going to be doing some analysis on what's actually happening with the atmosphere. And regardless, I think it's very important that we make sure that renewal happens. And we would be very honored if you and your where's that third one? Whoever is on your crew, you're all very welcome, and we would love to have you at renewal so that we can make our appreciation fully known in the way that we like to. It's a real fun time. I hope you stay.
Of course we're staying for the party.
I think we'd like nothing more than to see you all at your happiest and not your most dour. So of course we'll join you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the group chat, Rek is like almost gleefully detailing how she is terrorizing the crew into setting up returning the Necessarium.
Yeah, I think you come to understand that there's been sort of a mutiny, and there were enough people on the stewardship that wanted to like fuck off, that they caused problems, but not enough to take over the ship. And so they stole one of the shuttlecraft and just left. So the like 20-ish people out of that crew have just all gone, have just all quit and left. But the rest of them are still kind of doing their thing. And if and when they are able to get loose of you, they just jet and leave the system immediately. So if you don't want to let them go, I think there could be there would be some additional struggle, but I'm fine to kind of move toward wrapping up here, depending on what Rek is thinking.
I think Rek would ping the other two to apprise them of the situation, and basically let them know that Rek is fine with them leaving, because again, primary objective was them getting GTFO, so to speak. So how do you feel about them losing all the rock? Rek doesn't care about it personally.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah, that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the stewards do accept, it seems like the commander is trying to save face. Like, of course, we were only here voluntarily, and we're very disappointed that you don't want to continue with our crisis response operation. Unfortunately, much of the Necessarium was used in the process of building this device, which was damaged in the skirmish with the partridge. That's a lie. And so they can't return everything because they sold a lot of it, but they returned some of it. And then I think if it's okay, we will jump forward to the next day. We're back in the town square of New Amity, which has overnight become like 50 times more festive. And there's more lights, there's paper crafts, there are food stalls, there's music. And the thing that you come to learn is that that renewal is about community and friendship and family, but one of the primary kind of ways that this is practiced is by basically individual material or ephemeral creation. So many of the gifts are, here's this thing I handmade. I made you food, or, here's this drink that I know that you like. These are specific gifts of work and labor and or time, or handmade things that you get from somebody else. This is the anti-consumerist gift-giving holiday here, because ultimately this is a colony where they participate in like commercial markets, really mostly externally, and then are just sharing the stuff that they need amongst themselves. So as we move to epilogue, I'd love to hear from each character some moment in the renewal festivities that your character partakes of. And you're very much welcome to make up some part of how renewal works, so that this can become part of the multiversal Porter's Day paradigm.
So, when I heard that part of the festivities includes giving ephemeral gifts, I decided to share a thing that typically I only make for the crew of the Partridge. Before we all got arrested, I had a stash on another planet of moonshine that I made on a heavy gravity moon.
Nice.
It's like I have like 80 bottles of like the strongest booze in our solar system. And we typically only drink it when we're celebrating a thing on the ship. But I'm like, this entire planet is celebrating, so I give a bottle of it to the mayor.
And I think, so this is like 150 proof plus. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The act of inhaling it is capable of making someone inebriated.
Well, Luna, this is very strong. Would it be all right if I got this to Lou, one of our brewers, maybe for next renewal, turn it and mix it in with something else. I honestly don't think that if any of us are going to try and drink it directly ourselves, we'll be able to partake of much of the rest of the festivities. But we're very grateful for this and for everything that you've done.
Of course. I hope that you enjoy it. Also, let me not forget to give you the instructions, and then I hand the mayor a pamphlet of all of the ways that it needs to be ideally prepared so you don't severely injure yourself.
Sure.
Only serve it in stainless steel drinkware. The ratio of it to a chaser should be 1-20, etc.
Oh, this is very good. This is it reminds me of our food preparation standards that we inherited from the original colonists.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's always very important to not go blind, but still, thank you so very much for allowing us to be a part of this process for you all.
Of course. Well, since that is going to be a gift that we will get to keep on enjoying for some time, why don't I pour you some of the cider that we make here for our toast?
Of course, I'd love that very much.
All right, and so we get kind of we know that this toast is happening, but the camera shifts to one of the others who would like to go next.
So Deepwave is drinking hot cider with Elise and their family.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera just pulls back a little, and we see that the Stoat people are no longer craned over, and Deepwave is no longer looking up because they brought out a step ladder for Deepwave to stand on to put us all on eye level.
Very nice. And so yeah, they're chatting, and the miner whose name I don't believe that I gave the miner spouse's name, and so
I don't think so.
They're going to be Morris, Morris. And like Morris still looks a little under the weather from kind of the time that he and the others spent kind of past the cave in, but in much better spirits. And the little Stoat person is like climbing all over him, and like gets kind of gets up there. This small Stoat person is a bit large to be carried, but is insisting on it. Maybe some kind of like emotional reaction regression kind of a thing, but it's all fine. Are you just chatting? Is there some other activity happening here as well?
Mainly just hanging out, but Deepwave has been just keeping an eye through on the festivities and observing that like the community is definitely taking care of the miners who were in the cave in. Like they are getting extra sandwiches. People keep throwing blankets on top of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of so Deck comes up to you at some point. Would Deepwave have let on their interest in cocktails at some point in either the previous day's conversation or the renewal ceremony, the renewal activities?
Deepwave was so distracted by everything going on that it didn't come up.
Okay, so maybe just a little bit of renewal magic. Dex says, "Hey, this is my sibling Keb, and Keb is a mixologist, and so Keb has come up with a cool renewal cocktail that they want to share with everybody. And I thought that we should start by sharing it with you, Deepwave, since you and your friends did so much to help us."
Oh, thank you.
And so I think this is this cocktail gets named the From Darkness to Light, and like has some kind of like fancy FX where it, you know, you pour some part into a larger chunk of dark material, and then that additional liqueur or mixer starts fluorescing and makes the whole drink glow. And so
This is very lovely.
so they make a number of these and kind of start passing them out, and like a larger crowd comes to see this.
Deepwave hops behind it, the makeshift bar, to learn how to do it and starts helping run this just distribution.
Lovely. And like a bit off from there, Shelley is seated watching basically kids and, you know, any number of people ice skating on a rink that they have kind of next to the square, and seems to just be really happy to be there, seems to be in better spirits and better health, and kind of at various times like catches each of your gaze, and you know, we get a quick flashback to the beginning of the festivities where Shelley is like very proud of each of you for what you all have done, like, and says this like as she is like sneezing, but is, you know, having a good time regardless. And then we come to Rec.
Rec does not like festivities because Rec was not made to enjoy things except for landing. And so, thusly, they have been harassed horribly by the small children into providing small air rides. They have their glove back on their head. The googly eyes are back on.
Good.
As they're flying around. Some enterprising local has stuck a little red bulb on the front of their faceplate, so it looks like a little red nose for some reason. And they're just doing a great job of flying and then landing with the small children. And this is greatly entertaining to everybody for some reason.
Yeah, and there are some other like adults hanging around like watching, because I think at first probably people were a little worried, but Rec is an expert at the landing part, which is like the most dangerous part, and so the line keeps growing, and there is some question as to whether this will all end before it is dawn. Because there are so many kids that are all having so much fun, and the kind of, you know, in the night sky we have all of the kind of the lights about the community, and then there's some like kind of northern lights type visual phenomena that's not anything to do with whatever else is happening with the atmosphere, and we kind of pull out, seeing each of these little scenes. We get back out to orbit. with the partridge kind of happily hovering and orbiting, and then we pull back to the kind of the edge of the galaxy as happy, like the kind of the outro credits of whatever this not Star Trek TV show is, and then we go into normal credits, and at the end it says the crew of the Partridge will return ? And we will end there for today. This has been Lasers and Feelings, a game by John Harper that is delightful, and I have been very happy and honored to be joined by Jeoi, Gawain, Lin, Brandon O'Brien, and Iori Kusano from the Strange Friends crew as we do our Speculate Porter's Day special here on twitch.tv/rvanelleron. And I want to say thank you again to everyone who has been watching live with us here at the channel, to the mods for keeping an eye on everything and making sure that everyone is nice and not naughty. This has just been a nice way to have happy, good feelings winter holiday time with my lovely strange friends. And so I will invite each of them to remind us where we can find them, and then we will say good night, good day, good time zone. Starting with Brandon.
Hello again. I am still Brandon O'Brien. This evening I played Luna February, the hotshot explorer who wants to befriend everyone in the universe. I am really glad that we got to do some more Porter's Day things, because this is really cool. And I'm glad that, again, I got to spend Porter's Day with my strange friends and with all of you in chat. A reminder again that you can find me everywhere on the internet at the Rising Tides. Whether that includes Twitter is apparently very violently in flux tonight. But you can find me everywhere else on the internet at the Rising Tides. I have a newsletter which you can find at brandonobrien.xyz. And of course I have an itch page, therisingtides.itch.io, where you can find all of the very cool game stuff that I have made or am working on, if you want to support that stuff as well. And of course, I am the author of Can You Sign My Tentacle, a poetry collection published by Interstellar Flight Press. And if you'd like to read some weird, mildly Lovecraftian, but definitely very black poetry, definitely check that collection out. Thank you so very much for spending time with us. I'm very glad that I get to sometimes diffuse the other weirdnesses of the holiday season by spending time with you all. And I hope to see you all very, very soon in 2023.
All right, Jeoi.
Hello, and very soon, goodbye. I remain Jeoi Gawain Lin, a game and fiction writer. Tonight, I have played an android pilot who is here to land shit and talk shit. I exist in a Schrodinger's kind of way on Twitter, due to the aforementioned volatility. If Twitter does so happen to flick the switch down into the permanent zero state of being, you can find me outside, touching grass, somewhere. But otherwise on Twitter, I am This Is My Design. Design is spelled capital D-A-S-E-I-N. It is a philosophy and a Hannibal pun. And it is with a philosophy and a Hannibal pun that I wish you all a very good Porter's Day and a very excellent time, and much gratitude for being part of this strange company and the strange vibes.
Marvelous. Iori.
Happy time zone, friends. It has been a delight. Kusano Iori, they, them, at Iori Kusano on Twitter for as long as that lasts. I will be there to the end because we are inching closer and closer to the class action lawsuit, and I'm getting my 35 cents. You can also find me at kusanoiori.com. I have a very neglected blog there. Maybe I'll throw some recipes up, who knows. And as always, you can find me in Master Duel and fight me. Happy Porter's Day, team.
Now I'm thinking we could have like a Patreon special that is whatever recipe we come up with for the this special renewal cocktail.
I have absolutely started working that out.
Brilliant. I am Mike Underwood. I publish as Michael R. Underwood. I have been your delighted stage manager for this game of Lasers and Feelings. This is a game that, by all accounts, is intended to be largely improvised. And so, given that, I knew that the Strange Friends would be able to bring glorious chaos, and we've done it once more, once again. It's very fun to get to GM for the Strange Friends in broadcast, because I've really only done other GMing for them all off screen in various private machinations. It's Genre Knots playtests. They've been helping me. They're very fun. You should also make sure to buy Valerie Valdez's books, because they're wonderful and fun. And Valerie will return the next time we have a kind of a mainline Speculate Strange Friends activity, as we move toward the grand finale of Girl by Moonlight Fractal Spire that we are playing on the channel and the podcast. If you have you may have noticed that the Speculate podcast feed is not getting some of the episodes, because we are still dealing with some website challenges and working on an export. So stay tuned to the Speculate Twitter at SpeculateSF, and Speculate's Patreon at patreon.com/speculate. The episodes are getting posted there because that part isn't broken. And that will be getting these recordings from this Lasers and Feelings game. And then as soon as we've got things up and running, we will resume normal service. But we'll keep on playing games and coming to you here on the Twitch channel. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And a happy Porter's Day to all. Take this spirit of camaraderie and giving out with you into the world to overthrow capitalism and seize the means of production.
Unionize! Unionize!
Good night, all. Take care. Farewell. And we go.